When I first started being involved with child welfare in 1963, there were 600 legally free children that were legally free for adoption, and the social workers were not doing anything. The other children that were in out-of-home care were with the counties, and we had no idea where they were, how many there were. It wasn't really until the Foster Care Review Board was formed and was required to have a census of the children that we got any idea of how many the children were in out-of-home care in the counties.
So a critical piece of Ann's involvement with the Foster Care Review now office was to let the advocates in to show what happens when a system lacks oversight. And to this day, Foster Care Review Board staff are looking at case files, looking at information on the computer to make sure that these children don't fall through the cracks.
There was also a big movement for children's rights that was being pushed by advocates. There were many people who had adopted children from Korea 10 years previously, and they kept saying, we're perfectly willing to take these children that are in the foster care system, but you can't get through the social workers. And so we began to develop a group which exists to this day, the Foster and Adoptive Parents Association. And so we began then to have advocacy meetings with the department, with the head of child welfare. And one of the situations was where they found that there were 15 more people being paid. We went in and went through the books. There were 15 missing children. They actually existed. They had been in foster care. Nobody had visited them for 4 or 5 years.
We did end up with a model tracking system, not only in the region, but for the entire country, which we were asked to go before Congress and testify how the system was put together. And if we wouldn't have had Ann Coyne at the table, I very much doubt if we could have put that system together. Ann began training the legal system, guardian ad litems, prosecutors, parents' attorneys on bonding and attachment and separation and loss. As things would work, the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges heard about this training, and Ann ended up training judges in 33 states on this very important topic of why we shouldn't first just discard biological parents. It's certainly something that Voices for Children has worked very hard on.
1984 was the first time that I went to Nicaragua. I went back in 1986 because they were asking for help of what to do with their children that are on the street. So in 1990, I had a sabbatical. So I spent my sabbatical in Nicaragua working in an orphanage there in Managua. And that was when I began to find families for some of the handicapped children.
2007, we first met to try to do a one-week training in special education for teachers in Nicaragua. At the same time, she had just set up a school for the deaf, and they were really needing some expertise in deaf education, and I'm the only one at UNO that has that.
When you watch her interact with the locals, you know that she has put in so much work building those positive relationships with them and helping them and just being a really good support and friend for them.
Ann has a lot of very strong qualities. She has a very strong personality, and she gets things done. So she really has kind of this star quality in Leon. And it's very interesting, if we want to get things done, we just say, Anita, Anita said we can do this or that, so as far as getting permission for things.
One of the most important traits that Dr. Coyne possesses is courage. And I think that courage was shown by letting the advocates into the files and then standing behind that data. That step was unparalleled. And Dr. Coyne has taken many of those steps in her career.
She loves the students and interacts with the teachers, and they know that she's got their back.
She's pretty much a badass. That's all I can say about her. She's so great, and she has so many stories and experiences that she loves to share with others.